Hey everybody, and welcome to The Void, a show dedicated to filling the void between being an employee and becoming self-employed. Most people refer to starting your own company as taking the leap, as if you're blindly jumping off a cliff and into the unknown. This show is here to help you understand that it doesn't have to be that way. Throughout the course of this show, I'll share with you the process I used to start our company so you too can be on your way to starting your very own company and fulfilling your own true potential. As always, I'm your host, Mitch Smedley, and with me is David Hilton.
Mitch, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
I had a question sent to me the other day on Facebook.
Yeah?
What is with your really weird girly bracelets that I'm wearing? I got them on again today. My daughter made me these, okay?
Ha!
So I wear them with pride.
Yeah?
Nice. So that's the answer to that question for the... Actually, it's been like 4 or 5 people that have sent...
It's a little Gerard Butler stuff going on in Law Abiding Citizen. That's what that is.
Yeah. I mean, it's not intentional. She makes them.
Yep.
I told her, I said, one day I'm going to, sell those on the show
You ain't selling those.
Donate the money to charity.
Don't even act like you're going to sell those.
Donate the money to charity or something someday.
Yeah.
Not these, but like one she made.
You wait, Marcus back there, he's got a daughter that's about at the bracelet making stage.
That's a good idea. I might pass it on to her.
You know what's in my hallway?
What's that?
Rubber bands. Millions and millions of colored rubber bands everywhere, man.
Really?
Yeah, just everywhere. She's got this whole case, and she's just...
She enjoys it too.
Oh, she loves it, man.
Mm-hmm.
She tells me if I forget them, she's like, hey, Dad, where's your bracelets?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're on my nightstand. I'll go get them.
Better go get them.
I wear them with pride. Sometimes I forget.
So I still got Lego creations that my kids have created in our bedroom, and I've got like their drawings from 4 or 5 years ago still taped on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
So,
dude, our fridge, Janine keeps a whole file. It's just her drawings. Just keeps them.
It gets
there's a lot.
With
I know.
a 3-year-old, it gets hectic, man.
So you can't keep it all.
You can't keep it all. You can't. You
get overloaded.
You got to get rid of some stuff. But anyways, that's the bracelet.
All right, guys. So we've got a new flavor of show for you today. It's kind of an off-the-cuff thing a little bit. Basically, when we started coming up with this show, we started coming up with a bunch of rando, like, show topic ideas or things we could discuss or whatever, and we put them all on this big giant list. So what we're going to do today is we are going to have Marcus surprise Dave and I with a couple of random things off the list. Like, Dave and I know what kind of topics are on the list, but we've never...
But they don't know which one it is.
Well, we don't know which one you're going to talk about or which one you're going to ask us about, and... We've never really fleshed out these topics or anything. It's literally like, oh, we should do a show on this, or we should talk about this one day.
And first off, some late night drinking. Sometimes I'll get on there, and I'll just, and I'll type it on there.
So
I'm not 100% sure any of them are good.
This list is on a shared Google Drive between the three of us.
Or of what they all are.
We've added to this list at any hour of the evening.
I guarantee there are some that are completely ridiculous.
Right.
I'm not trying to set anything up. There's no freaking telling.
There's some good ideas that come in at about midnight after a couple of drinks.
They're not good.
I see some pretty good ones.
There's some okay ones, and then
I see some pretty good ones.
There's some pretty shit ones.
Marcus is on some pretty good ones.
Okay, so Marcus. All right, let's...
Hold on real quick. As always... Everything that we talk about on this show is gonna tie back to our 6 core adversities that you'll need to overcome if you want to start a successful company. So,
we'll
Dave,
go over them. No, you go over them.
You want me to go over them this time?
Hey, you told me we were doing an improv show. I always do them today. You're doing them.
All right,
that's
so
nice.
The
back
6
up, flip it and reverse it.
Is we're gonna get.
First off, I love Mary J. Blige. I think she's great. So
I thought that was Missy Elliott.
No.
Is
it? Am I messed up?
I think
what did I say?
Mary J. Blige.
Oh, yeah. I think I did.
I'm not going to act like I know who sings it.
I think he's right. Yeah, he's right.
So, our core adversities, we got 6 of them. They're broken into...
I could have did the same thing. No worries.
Yeah, I don't... Dude, I mess stuff up like that all the time.
We still on... all right, you guys
go ahead.
Go ahead. It's okay, go ahead.
All right. So, we got our core adversities broken into 2 steps. Or 2 sections. You've got the preparation adversities, and then you've got the beginning adversities. And so the preparation adversities are adversities that you want to overcome before you start your business. And then the beginning adversities are adversities that you're going to want to overcome very soon after you started your business. So the preparation adversities are personal finance preparation, business finance preparation, and systems preparation. The beginning adversities, so these are soon after you've started, is going to be community involvement work, and finding ways to get involved in your community. The next one is wake up, do work, and repeat, or as the young kids call it today, hustle and grind.
Or you know what I hate worse than that is when they say adulting.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it drives me insane. I'm adulting today. No, you're not. You're just be an adult.
Right.
Stop jackassing around, okay?
And then the last one is evaluate performance, make adjustments, and improve. So you're constantly in a perpetual state of that. That one never, ever goes away in your business, ever. So as we're being surprised with whatever topics Marcus is going to throw at us today, we'll probably be able to tie them back to some of those adversities. So
we're gonna see what happens.
We're gonna find out what happens here. So Marcus,
topic number 1.
Throw us some topics.
How to handle bad reviews even when it's not your fault.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
All right, so
go ahead. Let's see what you got.
First off, I got to stretch before I do this.
When you say I think I wrote that. So
currently at this moment with our company, we don't have any bad reviews.
Pride cometh before the fall, Mitch.
Right? It's gonna happen. Okay. I know it's gonna happen.
What are you doing?
But as of right now,
his record pristine.
Yeah.
As of right now, we were the only company in the Kansas City area with a perfect 5.0 rating.
I need like
Google.
a soundboard where I could yeah.
So that won't last long. I mean, it's been 18 or 19 months. We're well over 300 reviews.
I think I've said this before, but if you can see Mitch's head swelling on the camera, then you know something is going wrong.
But let's get real here. I have worked and managed departments in the past where there were plenty of bad reviews coming in, and I'm very, very familiar with how to handle them. So,
did you handle them personally, or was there a part in someone in the business that handled them?
Both. One of the companies had so many upset customers calling in that they
that's not good.
And I'm not shitting you. They literally hired a person and paid them an annual salary just to handle upset customers.
Okay, what'd they do? I'm interested. What did they do? What was their? How did they do that?
So, let's go twofold with this. One is let's talk about how they handled it, and then two, let's talk about how they could have prevented that whole thing in the get-go, right?
So start out. How did they do it? What was their job?
You would have somebody write a very honest review, and they would basically divulge a lot of bad information about the company, right? That they were taken advantage of, or they felt like they were sold something they didn't need, or the technician that was out there was untrained or whatever. And half the time, the customer may have been right, okay, at this particular company. Well, what the company would do is privately...
I am under the assumption that every time there's a bad review, not every time, 90%, it's usually true.
Right. Now, is the customer embellishing a little bit to try to grab some more reaction? Probably.
Maybe sometimes.
But... So what the company would do is they would reach out to the customer and ask them, hey, I understand you did not have a 5-star experience. What can I do to turn your experience around? Or what can I do to make your experience a 5-star experience?
Now, you're saying that was whether it was a 1-star or a 4
or a 4.
3, or actually, maybe they did anything 3 and under?
They wouldn't even lead, like a 4 was good for them. They were like, we'll take a 4.
So anything 3 and under, it popped on the radar.
Right. And so then they would start this long process of back and forth. And ultimately, it would result in the company refunding the customer a substantial amount of money in exchange for the
or all,
or more than all.
Oh, all plus,
right? In order to get the review removed, right? So that is not the right way to handle it. That's just how that company handled it. So in our company, we do everything we can to ensure that every customer gets a 5-star experience.
Well, of course.
And so,
but it would now. I understand that.
No,
but I'm devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got 50 employees, it's impossible.
It can be.
It's impossible.
It can be. It very well can be.
So what's the right... I'm not talking about your company. What is the right way for a company to do that? Because you brought it up. That is a big company.
So the right way to do it is to not take the adage of... Don't take this the wrong way. There's a lot of companies out there that take the adage of, oh, it's impossible, it's just going to happen, and it is what it is. No, what you got to do is you got to do everything you can to ensure that your technicians are delivering a 5-star experience. And when a 5-star experience isn't given, and you get that in the form of a review, take it seriously and go on and investigate it and figure it out. there is some truth to the fact that, yes, you can't make everybody happy. However, for like, we're at like 325 reviews right now, right? And again, now I'm being real. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. 325, never so much as even a 4-star, okay? And if a 4-star or anything like that comes in, I'm reaching out to them and I'm saying, hey, I understand you didn't have a perfect experience. Where did we drop the ball? What can we do to change? I'm not buying their review. I'm not buying them to remove their review. I'm seriously looking into where did we drop the ball, because our process is built in a way that a customer gets a 5-star experience. And if they don't, we need to look into why.
What can we do differently?
Right. So at that previous company that I was mentioning,
which is beginning step 6. Evaluate performance, make adjustments, and improve, right? Yeah.
So at that other company.
So don't take it as it's always a bad thing. It may actually be, it's a bad thing because you don't want your customers to experience that, but it's a good thing in the fact that you have some room to grow, or it is a teaching opportunity for one of your employees.
Right. And so at that other company, they literally set budgeted money aside every month for customer refunds.
Yeah. And that's extreme, an extreme situation.
It's very extreme.
Yeah.
And so much so that they would get nervous if you didn't hit your budget in that department.
Really?
They would come to me and
they
were
were
like,
afraid that you weren't doing
you've
your
only
job.
refunded half the money we budgeted for refunds. Like, is this going to cause a shitstorm for us? No, maybe we just did a little bit better in the customer service department, right? So there are companies literally that go out there operating under the understanding that we're going to piss some people off, and it just is what it is.
So if you had a 4-star right now,
so
you were getting into that, you call them personally.
You
would call them personally.
True life story. 2 days ago, we had a 4-star show up, right? And it's from a customer that I know absolutely loves us. Absolutely. Like, loves us to death.
Accidentally hit it or something?
Well, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way she gave us a 4-star. Like, I know this lady just loves us to death. So she communicates to us through our business messenger on Facebook. And so I jumped back on our business messenger and I said, hey, I'm just following up on our service call today. How did everything go? And she's, oh, it's amazing. It's great. Just as always, you guys did amazing. I said, oh, that's great. I love to hear it. And I'm glad that I followed up with you. I noticed that you gave us a 4-star review on Google. Is that real, or do we have some improvement that we need to make? And she says, no, that's wrong. That shouldn't be. I meant to hit 5 stars. I must have hit the wrong button. And then she was like apologetic, like, how do I fix it? Can I fix it? Can I change it? And before I could even get to like tell her how to change it, she says, oh, I've already changed it, and she changed it to a 5 and everything. So it was just accidental. However, my approach with that would be the same as it would with anybody, of following up, checking on your experience, and then asking, where do we have room to improve?
Okay.
So
I'm going to keep pushing you on this because I find it very interesting.
Yeah.
Say you get a 3 and you call them and she says, hey, your tech, this is just an example.
Mm-hmm.
Your tech tracked mud in the house.
Yep.
And didn't clean it up.
Yep.
What do you say to her?
Well, for one, we're getting our carpets professionally cleaned.
I like it.
Obviously.
Okay.
So
you're or say it's not. Say you go over there and inspect it. Would that be something you would say? Hey, can I come over and look at it?
In this day and age,
and if it's okay with you, I'm only coming over so that I know whether or not to call the carpet guy.
Yeah. No. Like I would. So in cases like that, I'll be very upfront with the customer and be like, oh, if we got mud on your carpets, you don't even like act like you're kind of wondering, should I send a carpet cleaner or not?
Right.
You just go straight to,
let
me call a carpet cleaning company. Do you have one you like, or should I call one that I know?
Love that answer.
And again, you're not going to send your guy if they have one they're in love with. So, and then you're gonna do everything that you can to make it right. And typically, when you do have a customer that has legitimately fallen through the cracks, and had a less than perfect experience.
And that's that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Is I'm pushing you because customers do fall through the cracks.
Yep.
And it's not because the guys aren't trained.
Yeah, sometimes it's unintentional.
Sometimes things happen.
Yep.
One more example. You've pretty much answered that.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish that one. So when you do have that customer that falls through the cracks and everything else, it's not. This is where a lot of people go wrong. Is they go in wanting to do the minimum that they can to try to achieve the result. But what they don't understand is if a customer felt in a position to give you a less than perfect rating, that's a customer that wants to be a passionate advocate for your business. They were honest and they had a less than perfect experience. So a lot of times, if you spend a little bit of time with that customer and truly care about, I don't want to say throw caution to the wind and throw the finances out the window, but you do what it takes to make it right for that customer, they will all of a sudden turn their low review into a 5-star review, and now they're going to be a promoter for your company because...
That's an advertisement.
Right, because we're all allowed to make mistakes. The true judge of a company or a person's character is how they handle their mistakes when they made one.
Finally.
So
I was waiting for you to give that type of answer, and I was like, I didn't want to push you to it.
Right.
But I knew if listen, I had like 3 more examples I was going to make you answer, but it only took a couple. So
yeah.
Good. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
That's
100%. That's exactly what you said there is exactly what you should do.
Right.
And if you do that, you get a customer for life.
Right.
They've changed their review, and you have added another aspect of your company.
Right.
To another aspect to your company.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're now that if someone, and a lot of people do this before they'll hire somebody, if they don't have word of mouth confirmation that you're good, they will read your reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess where that review is going if you have the opportunity to post that somewhere.
Right.
That review is going at the top.
Right.
And that can change someone's mind.
Yeah. Yeah. They the former company that I worked at, they just understood that, we're going to get a lot of bad reviews because they were very, very profit driven. And so they would sell customers things that they didn't need. And they would inflate the price of repairs if the option to do so was there and all of this stuff. And so they just understood that, some people are going to write us a bad review and it just is what it is.
That's just non-ethical behavior. You know what I mean? If you're going to do that.
Right. Right. Profitable. Not ethical.
Yeah,
Dave.
Exactly. And let me just one more part. So if I completely lost what I was going to say.
No, go ahead.
Nope. Cut them off.
I know, messed me up. I have no idea where I was going with that.
Right.
Real life.
But ultimately, to summarize that, since we kind of went over a bunch, take their review seriously. Call them up, and or I don't want to say call. Communicate to them on the messaging or communication platform that they originally came to you on. So, the one accidental 4-star that we got
was on there.
She's we've never talked to her on the phone. She messages us for every call. And so I went back to the messaging platform that she was comfortable with and communicated to her for that. So, but then you do whatever it takes to make it right. We're plumbers. If a HVAC guy makes a mistake, then somebody's house is hot when it should be cold, or it's cold when it should be hot, right? If an electrician makes a mistake, a breaker isn't working or a light's not working, right? In this day and age, very seldom are electricians going to cause house fires today. Plumbers, on the other hand, when plumbers make mistakes, it's usually a wet mess, right? And so...
there could be some serious money involved.
There's some serious money.
Especially if it's hardwood floor.
Right. And so you gotta. There's guys that'll be like, oh well, let me bring a fan over from the shop and dry that up for you if I screwed up or something. No, call in the professional that's going to give them the peace of mind that they truly got taken care of.
Yeah.
So
I remember what my thought was.
Yep.
What you said at the very beginning of that was I try to train the guys. That's what it comes down to. 90% of them, if you're training them to do the right thing, you won't have those issues.
Right.
That's what I wanted to bring up.
Right.
Then I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
But so training, preparing the guys. Hey, sitting down and having a meeting about, hey, guys, when these people put a 3 on here, I'm calling them.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something you did, I'm coming down on you.
And
okay? So I'm trying to prepare you men or women
right.
to make the right decisions and be the best that you can be when you're out there.
Yeah.
And that's the culture that you want to try to breed in your company.
That's why. That's when I first met Mitch. He was telling me about that, and I was telling him that that's the importance of their guys actually buying in to what you have, the passion. They need to embody the passion that you have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of things go into that. Training, taking care of your guys,
hiring,
good pay, hiring.
Like
we beat those things to death in the first episodes, but
we said that on a previous episode. I can't teach a guy to give a shit, but I can teach him how to plumb.
Right.
And so if I hire a guy with heart and that cares, I can teach him about anything. And so when I'm interviewing people, I'm interviewing them for their heart and for their passion. And if their skills are a little low, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
But another real life example, we traded in all of our vehicles recently to a local dealer here in town and got newer vehicles that were bigger and taller and gave us more room. Ironically, one of the guys I know bought one of our old vehicles from that dealer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He messaged me. Actually, it was actually a conversation on Facebook. It wasn't Messenger. But anyway, he said, hey, we actually picked up one of your old vehicles. And I'm like, oh, cool, And he said, whatever you're doing, you're hiring the right guys, because this vehicle was like in the best condition we've ever seen for what a plumber's van would look like.
Right.
It's not beat all to hell.
Right. And so
I like to hit him with a hammer. Just give you a nice little cherry on one side.
That heart that we're hiring carries all the way through to the condition that they keep their vehicles in.
Yeah.
How well they keep them organized and everything else. So you're gonna see a guy's ability to have heart and caring and compassion long before they even see a customer.
Yeah. Culture of the company is a big thing.
Yeah,
very
it's
important.
huge.
Which leads to my next topic, unless you have...
No, go ahead. Let's go.
The next one.
Marcus, next question. Fire away, dog.
Finding good workers, keeping them around.
I think I wrote this one too. Finding good workers.
Do you want me to switch up and give you a Mitch one?
No.
I think that's a great segue for that.
Right.
No, it's... First off, finding good workers is extremely difficult. Okay? I'm gonna take it from you're on your own and you're hiring your first guy. Number one is call the guys that you already know. Okay, I'm gonna give a couple different answers.
Mm-hmm.
If you know guys of heart that you're not poaching them.
Right.
You're calling them all and you're asking them, hey, you happy? Everything going good? Yeah, man, everything's great. Love it. Don't push them.
Right.
Call the next guy. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's okay. I've been thinking about leaving. Hey, bud, I've been on my own, right? Yeah. I'm looking. Right there, you automatically have a candidate you trust.
Yep.
That you know. Okay? That's a great way to start. Say you've hired 3 guys and you're looking for guys. What do? First thing you do is you ask the guys that already work for you if they know guys that are unhappy.
Right.
Okay?
Sounds familiar.
You've already pre-vetted those guys by doing that. Okay? Same thing. If you have a few guys, hey, I know a couple guys that are already on my list that I've, had my eye on. I used to work for them 10 years ago at, I don't want to say anybody, Pedro's Plumbing or whatever. I call those guys. Hey, man, you happy? Everything going good? Can we get lunch? You go to lunch with those guys. Okay? Now, I'm talking from a small business perspective. I'm not talking about a big company that's got 50 guys already.
Right.
You know what I mean? You've pre-vetted those guys. You already know their character. You already know their heart.
Their work ethics.
Yeah.
All that
You
stuff,
already know what they expect from a good employer.
Right.
And you've basically done half the work right out of the gate.
Yep.
What about someone who doesn't have that?
Well, first off, if you're coming from a plumbing anyone that's starting I keep saying plumbing because Mitch is a plumber. HVAC guy. If I'm starting an HVAC company, I've already worked at some. So that's
okay.
You know what I mean? It's almost I don't mean to say void question, but you've got guys. You know people. Okay? And I mean you're out there reaching out, guys you've worked with, who's good, who's bad.
When I asked that, I was meaning like what happened if all the guys that
if none of them pan out,
I want to stay here. I'm happy. Yeah.
You've called. I don't know. What do you do, Mitch? Yeah, I'm asking you a question. What do you do? That's it.
This is an area.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I am hoping.
I think that's a wise approach.
Yep.
you know what? I'm gonna give you a personal story that happened to me today. I didn't think I was gonna tell you guys this. Someone that I used to work for, okay, that I know has hired no one in a very long time, calls me today and says, "Hey, you want to have lunch today?" Okay, I go have lunch with him. He's been looking literally for 8 months to find someone.
For 8 months?
That can do a lot of different things. Okay, I'm not talking about he's just needs a plumber. Just he needs somebody that does a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Well, I fit that mold.
Yeah.
You know what? He's doing the same thing that I just said. Mm-hmm. He's calling everyone that's ever worked for him, everyone that has that skill set, and he's going through that process of trying to find someone to fit his specific standards for what he needs. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I did not take the job.
Right.
But, I still, I respect that. Most people, when you call them, even if they're not interested, they will still sit down with you. And I gave him the name of a couple of other guys. Yeah. That I know and that I trust.
So you're saying it's a high chance you're going to find someone.
It is a high chance you're going to find somebody. Now, if you're looking for 6, good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It especially now. Listen, when I first started out, you could get guys, and this is just kind of a thing of the times, really. If you needed 3 plumbers, I've said this before. I got Mitch's first plumbing job. We worked together. Mm-hmm. Back then, it was hire and fire. Yeah. They would get rid of 3 guys and bring 3 guys in that didn't know nothing. Okay? Because guys wanted to work. You had to have a job. That's just what people did. And you would just filter those guys out on the job. It's not like that anymore. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work like that. Now guys have to have someone that they can plug directly in that's going to get the job done, or just needs a minimal amount of training. Yeah. But like I was saying, I didn't take the job, and obviously he respected that, and I gave him the number and names of
a couple other guys.
2 guys.
Yeah.
I won't say who they are, but hey, reach out to these guys.
Yeah.
Now, if those guys can't work out, I'm sure they know a couple guys that they would, feel good about giving the information to.
Yeah.
That's kind of a long-winded answer for that, but what do you do? Like Marcus says, if you can't find anybody, what do you do?
All right, so
what do you do? What have you done? I know that your first 2 guys.
My first.
You got those guys basically saying what I was saying.
Yeah. Well, kind of the same. It was still a struggle though. So
of course it's a struggle.
When you're going from you being the only guy to adding 1, it's hard to get people to come on board, right? Because all they're going is off of you, and you could be selling them a line of bullshit, right? You own the company, you're trying to hire somebody.
And that's the thing of if you call people
right,
and they do trust you, that automatically gives you a little bit of a leg up.
It gives you some buy-in, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, and you got to go way back on this. Let's say you haven't started your company yet, or even if you have, this takes some time. Go put yourself back into working for somebody else.
First off, I love this ambush show that we have.
Oh, I love it.
This
is fun.
Low-key.
So
Marcus back there eating Pringles, just
you're pouring the makers,
drinking whiskey and having some beers and telling the bullshit that's actually happened.
So put yourself back into an environment where you were working for somebody else. What did that employer do that everyone hated?
Hired guys you had to train. That's what I hated.
It's an open-ended question, right?
Yeah, it is. There's 1,000 answers.
Identify what that is and fix it with your company. Fix it before you've ever hired anybody, or if you've already hired people, put a plan in place to fix that.
So
whatever it is.
You want it, in a sense.
You can't let the inmates run the prison, but at the same token, like I had said on a former show,
man, the inmates are almost running the prison now.
Well, I had said on a,
I don't mean you. The workforce.
Yeah.
I had said on a former show that
Mark is making $1 million a year. We're not even sure he knows what he's doing.
One of the guys I recently hired, the company that they worked for had a policy in place where they got a point system for basically how many minutes they arrived behind the promised time to a customer's house. Right? Well, that's such a bullshit rule to have, right? Instead of promising a customer we'll be there by 10, you tell them we'll be there between 10 and 10:30. or 10 and 11, right?
Yeah.
Give some workable, realistic things for real life to happen.
We're not
right?
saying the DirecTV noon to 4.
Right.
We're saying realistic. 15
right? So,
half hour. A half hour is realistic.
Right. But as far as it comes to like hiring the person, these people would get points if they showed up a minute late. I mean, they were so freaking particular with it. What's the best way to piss your employee off? Oh, you showed up 1 minute late.
Micromanage them.
Right?
We've
totally
talked
forget about what you did yesterday,
episodes,
how late you worked the nights before, or anything. Like, there's never a policy that removes points.
Yeah.
It's only a policy that adds points, right?
What'd they do? They had to go in the office and
Who
do
knows?
push-ups.
Who knows? But what I'm saying is that's such a BS thing that comes on there that you don't have anything that you can work with. So fix that, right? Whatever that is. And then once you have those things that everybody hates corrected and you have a plan in place for how your business is going to run different, then grow at a rate that your team can handle, not at a rate that your marketing budget can handle. I see this problem all the time where businesses dump a whole lot of money into marketing and they're not ready for all the calls that come in from that marketing. Well, then they're flooded with calls, and all they don't see all the work that they have coming in. They see the work they're losing because they marketed more than their team can handle.
Yeah.
Okay? So then they rapidly hire everybody that they can, and they're sending people out into the workforce that aren't quite trained and they're not quite ready.
And your reviews are bad.
And then your reviews are, well, yeah, that's the end case, right? But then, they don't quite blend with the team. They're not the right quite personality and everything else, and the culture takes a dive because they spent too much money on marketing or marketing was too effective.
Yeah.
So
gets back to training and culture.
Grow at a rate your team can handle, not that your marketing can handle. That's number 2. And then number 3 is let your people fuck up. And I cannot stress that enough. So many people get so pissed off when their people make a mistake. Oh, my guy made a mistake. He flooded this customer's house. I'm firing him. I'm writing him up. He does that again. He's gone, right? Well, you don't want to know how I became a really freaking awesome plumber? I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. That's how I got, not in my life, but like my plumbing life, my career. I've put pipes together wrong. I've flooded houses. I've done that stuff before. And if you're a hair cutter, you're going to cut somebody's hair wrong. If you're a lawnmower,
it's usually a color thing when it's in the hairdresser. Man, it comes out a little,
or you burn their hair
off pink instead of red.
Yeah,
oh
right?
Shit!
So, or if you're a landscaper and you accidentally take the weed eater and trim off her prized azaleas or whatever the case may be, right? We learn from making mistakes. So if you have an employee that's recently made a mistake and you handle that correctly, you now have a better employee after that's over.
Opposed to hiring someone new who's going to potentially make the same mistake.
So you hire somebody, okay, you're gone, you fire them, and now you go hire somebody new, and you just hired somebody that's ready to go make those same mistakes again, right?
Or even more. And that's an answer to the second part of the question. How do you keep those
That's
employees?
how you keep people, right? So
not hiring, but keeping.
The mistakes cannot be malicious with intent, and they have to, so when our guys make a mistake, it's if you make a mistake and you stay on the team, right? It's an honest mistake, and it's one that it was either truly accidental or it was a mistake that was made in the best interest of the company or the customer, company and the customer.
Well, sometimes things just happen too.
Sometimes things just happen.
Hey
right?
man, I was putting those stops on. I thought I tightened the hot and cold, and I didn't get the hot tight all the way, and man, that thing shot off of there.
Yeah, that's like a workmanship mistake.
Yeah.
Let me give you another example.
That's an accident.
So the thing that we were talking about before, where one of the guys that I hired,
if it happens every house he goes to, now you got a problem.
Yeah.
Now you got a problem.
No, like the guy I talked about it in our previous episode, where they had the previous company had a policy in place where if you drove away from a customer's house without clocking out of the job,
a couple
you were dinged,
episodes
right?
ago, I think we talked about it.
Yeah, and so that's a discussion you could have with the guy, right? It's not a mistake. He did that with intent because it was in the best interest of the customer. The customer doesn't want to see you leave their house and then parked in front of their house for 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So he pulled down the street, went around the corner, went to a gas station, and his work wrote him up because he went to a gas station while clocked in on the job. When He could have just stayed clocked in on the job, creeped the customer out because he was sitting in front of their house for another 15 minutes. The same end result happened, only he was thinking ahead and thinking in benefit of the customer and drove out of their view. A real life thing that happened in our company like a month and a half ago. We have a policy where we always go over all repair pricing before any work is ever done so that there are no surprises. The customer knows exactly what they're getting and they know exactly what they're going to pay for it before any work is done. We were in a customer's house to do some work.
When you say we, you or
our company.
Okay,
our company. And this is a very fancy house on the lake. It's got like 6 bathrooms, okay? And the guy is very busy, professional. He didn't have time to meet us there. His wife met us there, and I mean this with the best that I can mean it. The wife was clueless about anything that goes on in the house, okay?
He takes care of it.
He takes care of that. The wife just... whatever goes on in there, she's just clueless, right?
That's just their relationship.
Yeah, you cannot communicate home repairs to the wife. She's going to mix it all up. She's not going to relay it to the husband very well, whatever. We cleared a list of repairs to do with the customer. He became busy and was tied up in meetings for hours. These repairs had to do with him either having hot water or not having hot water over the weekend. Like
so
we were there on a Friday afternoon.
So something came up and you just did it.
Something came up. The repairs needed to escalate. It took what was going to be a $1,000 repair bill to a $1,300 repair bill. My guys know that they can do this without even asking me. He did what was in the best interest of the customer and ultimately the company, and he advanced to the $1,300 repair level without asking the customer because the customer was unavailable.
Did he ask you?
No. He knows he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to.
You gave him that authority.
They have that authority to do what's in the best interest of the company and the customer.
So in a sense, he did ask you.
That's your little. I shouldn't say little. That's your business motto.
Yeah.
If you're doing what's in the best interest of the customer, do it, dude.
And so he made the $1,300 repair. He got all done. He emailed the customer an invoice. Granted, he never had a chance to communicate that the repairs needed to move up a little bit. So the customer gets this emailed invoice, and it's $300 more than he agreed upon. Well, he sends us an email and says, hey, what's going on? I'm not happy. This repair is $300 more and all this. We let him know that, hey, we encountered a problem, and we were faced with a decision of either get your hot water back on for the weekend or like walk away from it because we didn't want to use policy to prevent the customer from being satisfied, right? So we just went ahead and advanced it, and once he heard all of that, he became okay with it. But that could have gone south, right? If he would have called in and said, hey, what's up with this $300 repair bill, and we didn't handle it correctly, it could have gone the other way. But that was a mistake that it's not even really a mistake. Like, my guy was between a rock and a hard place.
I would call that an accident.
Right.
But not a
I don't know if
traditional accident.
You're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you have to make a decision, right? And truly, that's where a lot of mistakes kind of come from. But my guy knows that if like worst comes to worst, let's say the customer says, no, I only approved 1,000, I'm not going to do it 1,000. I would have eaten the $300.
Yeah.
Because my guy did the right thing.
It wouldn't have been a big deal.
Right, he got them back into hot water in their 5 or 6 bathroom house for the weekend.
And
on the
listen,
lake.
if that guy would have called and been a huge dick about it,
right,
and Mitch ate the $300 and made the guy happy and said, hey, look, man, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
It's a messed up situation.
Yep.
You know, and if you're honest with him and say, hey, I don't totally agree with it, but I will do it because we were in a weird situation. Guess what? That guy's probably a customer for life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Even if deep down he knows, hey, I got that guy for $300 bucks.
Right.
Well, guess what? He got that guy for $300 and next time he's still going to call him.
He's still going to call.
Yep. So, you know.
And he's still going to like pass the Smetley name on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, man, they did this. They got my hot water on, and because I didn't approve it, they gave me the $300.
Yep. And
he tells 2 people that.
So that's how you get and keep employees is you create a culture that they love, right? It's the opposite of the culture that they hated where they came from, but also you empower them to do the right thing because ultimately that's what people want to do.
Exactly.
When people are doing the wrong thing at other companies, they're doing it because they're kind of in a situation where they have to in order to succeed.
Oh, of course.
Because it's all profit driven, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
not all companies, but you're right.
Not all, but a lot.
The bad ones where there's a lot of problems, yeah. Yeah,
and
they're like, hey, sell,
right.
sell. And then it makes you make choices that you normally wouldn't make if you were on your own.
Right.
Right?
Right. And if those guys are on some kind of performance-based pay or whatever, and they're performing lower than average that week, and they're looking at like a low paycheck, and their family's not going to eat if they don't perform, well, guess what? You've put that guy in a position where now he has to be unethical to the customer in order to look out for his own paycheck. And that's not a good position to put your guy in. So fix all those things and then let them make mistakes. So, and I'll take it even one more level.
And you don't necessarily mean, I mean, you do mean let them make mistakes, but don't come down on them like a ton of bricks if they do make an honest mistake.
Right. And take it even one level further.
It'll keep those guys there.
Take it even one level further. If one guy makes a mistake and he learned from it, guess what? The whole team can learn from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So talk about it to the whole team.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
The guy might get embarrassed, maybe, I don't know. But as soon as he's all of a sudden seeing that we do this every time somebody makes a mistake.
Yeah. That's
well,
the
now,
culture. We're back to culture.
Exactly.
That's
back
the
to culture.
Right.
Yeah.
So let the entire team benefit from one guy making a mistake.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
That's how I do it, and it's worked really well. When I've been able to, and this goes back to my entire management career, when I have been able to manage under that philosophy,
guys stick around.
I have never had a guy quit me. Never once.
Well, because of work-related stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I've so
guys move. Guys,
guys. Like, I had one guy leave because he was going to be with his dad.
Yeah. I like to get him a little bit, when I can.
But I have been at places where I was not allowed to manage under that philosophy, and it was the highest turnover place ever, which put me in a very weird cultural position because now I'm stuck in a place with crazy high turnover, and I'm not used to that, and it's because I can't manage to those rules.
And that's like when we started out. You know how it was.
Yeah.
It was one in, one out. One in, one out. And it was literally every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every 2 to 3 weeks, it was 2 or 3 guys out.
I can't
until
remember.
They found a bunch of enough guys that were good that
I
wanted to stick around.
Well, I can't remember how long you worked there before I started working there.
Before you started working there?
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah, it wasn't
4
long.
months.
But what was funny?
He was like, "Hey, do you know anybody?" I was like, "Dude, you need to hire my friend."
Yeah, the moment Dave and I were both there together, I bet they only went through 2, maybe 3 people after that.
Yeah, and for a little while.
And then they got to their team of like 9 or 10, and it was just solid.
Solid from then on.
So
that's how it was.
That's
when we were growing up. It was a door, and no one gave a shit. If you came in and you didn't do exactly what they wanted and perform at a high level, you were down the road, and the next guy was in.
Yep.
I mean, it was literally
is pretty wild.
It was crazy.
Culture is like a flywheel. And a flywheel sitting there not moving, it takes an enormous amount of effort to get it going, right?
Wow.
You have to push on it really, really hard.
Takes a lot of
First off, did you read
rolling.
that somewhere? Or is that just from the heart?
No. This is culture. This is how I envision culture.
That's
right?
legit.
So
I like that.
Eventually, you push on this flywheel. Like your first push is the hardest push ever, right?
Yeah.
And it'll move, and if you don't push it again, it's going to slow down and stop.
Yeah, it's going to roll over and stop.
Your next push, because it's already moving a little bit, your next push gets a little bit easier, and your next push gets a little bit easier. And eventually, let's say you hire 3 or 4 people, now that flywheel has some momentum. And it becomes a lot more stable.
Yeah.
And it becomes a lot more consistent,
right?
And now the flywheel starts working for you, right? And so big engines have flywheels. Flywheels help the engine, right? So your team of great culture is this flywheel that actually starts working for you, and on a long enough timeline, now your culture-driven team goes out to the public and says, "I got a guy that would be great here."
Right.
So when you have a spot available,
and that's
let me know.
That's what I was talking about in the beginning.
Over.
Hey, you've got this group of guys. Well, then if it is great, that next group of guys says the same thing. And that next group of guys, and then it's easy to find guys.
I've already got our next 2 hires lined up.
Perfect. Am I one of them?
I didn't. No.
He better be.
We want good culture.
No thanks. No thanks.
I didn't. These are guys that reached out to me and they said, "When you're ready, I want to come on."
Nice. Dave will stop the flywheel, right?
He'll
put a little.
I will stone cold rock that bitch shut.
Yeah. So.
All right, man. Next one.
Hey, we have time for one more.
We got time for one more.
One more.
What do we got?
Focusing on profit versus focusing on service.
Man, these are all tying together.
I was gonna say, is that
I could pick a different one if you want.
No. I mean, it's crazy how they all tie together.
Read it one more time.
Focusing on profit versus focusing on service.
Do I want to answer that from a morality standpoint or a business standpoint?
Both.
First off, all business and everything you do is from a philosophy standpoint, right? Is from a morality standpoint. Okay? We have talked about this 100 times in the first episodes, right? So if you focus on profit, you're making the wrong decision. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you're focusing on being a better spouse, being a better father, having more time for your family, being a pillar in your community, paying people the right wage, the profit comes. That's just what happens. Okay? When you start with a solid base, and that should be your base,
Yep.
the profit just comes after that.
Yep.
If you come at it from a sense of profit only, and you think of everything, and I'm saying this is an extreme, hey, I'm going to pay this guy $2 an hour less so I can make some more money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy the cheap material so I can make $2 more. I'm going to buy the cheap van with no stickering so I can make $3 more.
Right.
That is not going to flourish and become something great.
Right.
All you're doing, I don't want to say you're a piece of shit, but that is not the way to look at building your business.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. You have to think of it as man, I can't believe I'm going to say this hippie
holistic. There it is. I can see it coming.
A holistic approach.
He's a hippie. He just doesn't want to admit it.
That's what it is.
Balanced approach. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're right.
It has to be balanced.
So
it has to come from a sense of, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this. Man, this sounds so dumb. I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth. I'm doing this for the betterment of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to build a business. I'm going to take care of my employees. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to take care of my community. And if you do all those things, your business is going to take off.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in if I didn't think those things were true, this podcast would be bullshit.
Right.
Okay,
right.
But I believe that.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, I can't say it any more simply than that.
Yeah.
That's just what I believe.
So big corporations.
Not to jump in and just take the answer to the question, but I mean,
big corporations look at businesses through balance sheets. They look at them through profit and loss statements. They look at them through all these reports that these higher up executives see, that they're trying to manage a service-driven business through spreadsheets.
That ain't
through
how it
balance
works.
sheets. I know.
That ain't how it works.
I've sat in those big corporate meetings.
Yeah.
And you get this, regional exec flies in and, we got to clean the shop. The regional exec's coming in. Like, let's make it, it shouldn't be that way.
Trap. That's what it should be.
Right. So then the regional exec comes in and he's looking at all the reports, and he didn't, in this particular instance, he doesn't even look at our team. He doesn't care about the team. He doesn't care about the trucks. He doesn't care about anything. He's sitting there looking at reports and he's going, what can we do to get that up a half a point? What can we do to get that cost down 2 points?
Yeah.
What can we do to turn this revenue up?
He's talking percentage when he says points.
Yeah. So they're literally looking at running a company through sheets.
Yeah.
And
that doesn't work. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It works.
It can if you came from the ground up.
That's
right?
That's the problem with a lot. Man, I can't believe I'm going to say this either. That's the problem with a lot of America right now.
Yeah. So, like,
great analogy.
I will be able to run our business through that sheet later on, because I know when I talk about, like, what can I do to get this down a little bit, it's not running the business through sheets. It's how can I change our service protocol to enhance these numbers, right?
Because you're not looking at the number like a number. So the guy says, how do I raise this 2%? He doesn't even know how you would do that. He's asking someone else, how do we do this?
Right.
You would be in the position, or I would be in the position to say, okay, this number's down. I know who to talk to about that.
Right.
I know what I can personally do to make that better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a huge that's black and white.
When you use profit as a motivator to manage your business, you start doing things, just like you were saying earlier, you start doing things that the antithesis of customer service.
Oh, I like that word.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big word for you.
It's the opposite of taking care of the customer, okay?
Yeah, it is.
So, in other words, like, what can we do to lower these costs? Well, we're just going to buy cheaper material. What can we do to raise our profit? Well, we're just going to raise our prices without doing anything to reflect that. You know, they start doing these arbitrary things to move numbers around, and the customer suffers, okay? Those same companies typically have a pretty impressive marketing budget too. And so
it's amazing when small companies get big, they almost lose their grasp of reality.
They do.
They lose the grasp of what did it take for me to get here?
Right.
And all of a sudden
forget everything. Yeah.
They change their mindset
Yeah.
from I want to be part of the community and I want to do these things. And they may have even been thinking, you know, in the line of I want to just make money, but it took serious community effort to get them there. And then once they got there, they're all of a sudden they're just like
negating from
they just go off the freaking deep end, or they hire a bunch of people that don't have that sense of, I don't want to say small time, but that small time sense of I know everything that it took to get here.
Yeah.
Right.
And they let it overtake their company.
Yeah. That's the biggest problem when companies sell out to big corporate companies too.
I think we're thinking of the same guy.
But what the way I look at it, and here's how you stay service driven rather than profit driven.
DOD, but not DOD.
The way you stay service driven instead of profit. So if you're service driven and if you're service driven correctly, the profit shows up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said,
this is back to money being like a dog, right?
Yeah.
If you chase a dog, it runs away.
We've talked about this.
So if you chase profit, it's hard to find.
Yeah.
But if you focus on being kind and gentle and serving the customer,
good stuff.
Right? You focus on serving the customer and miraculously profit shows up, right?
Yeah.
So the way to do that,
and that's, I hate to always say this, that's community involvement work.
Well, it can be anything.
I think I bring up community involvement work in every episode, but the thing is, the heart of community involvement work and the heart of doing your business that way are the same thing.
Right. The way to look at this is look at it like you're earning customers.
Yeah.
Okay? Big corporate companies buy customers with their advertising and with their marketing. So I always kind of chuckled at companies with these big, impressive marketing budgets, and they're usually the highest priced companies in town, and the customers are literally paying that company to advertise to them.
Of course they are.
I mean, like, it's almost like they should get a discount if they got a word of mouth referral to that company instead of like responded to the TV ad, because you think about it, the company's spending, $2 million or $3 million a year on marketing. Well, how much more do they have to charge their customers just because they're now spending $3 million a year on marketing, right?
It's capitalism at its best and its worst at the same exact time.
It's crazy. So my philosophy on it is don't buy customers, earn them. And the only way you can earn a customer without buying them is impress them so much with your level of service and the quality of work that you do that customer is now going to tell 2 of their friends, 2 of their family members, doesn't matter. They're going to tell 2 people about their experience with you. Now, those 2 people didn't reply to an ad. They didn't reply to a thing on TV.
They're genuine
They
leads.
didn't reply to something that they got in the mail that seems too good to be true, right? So they're calling you, and they have a whole lot more trust in you before they even call.
Yep.
And then when they call and you show up, they already trust your advisement because their brother or their sister or their friend said, I had a wonderful experience with them, you're going to love them, right? That's how you earn customers. And what happens is we are doing the same volume of, this is how we do it, and we're doing the same volume of work as other companies that are spending all of this crazy money on marketing, and we're not having to spend the money on marketing. And so technically, we could be making more money than those other companies, okay? But one little added thing that I do, and this helps push culture and it helps drive this earning customer initiative all the way through the organization, is I take what would be my marketing budget, and every month, and Marcus has seen this, I take what would be our marketing budget every month, and then I subtract out our actual marketing expenses, which are very, very low, and then I take what's left over and I divide it amongst every member of the company and I give it to them. I budgeted this much money for marketing. I didn't have to spend it because you guys did such an awesome job marketing for us by earning customers. So have it. It's a bonus. Thank you.
It sounds super cliche.
I can testify that.
It sounds super cliche, but you are marketing.
Exactly. You're marketing and
exactly.
you're branding instead of marketing,
exactly.
right?
And that answers the second question also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
How do you keep your employees?
Yep.
Right.
If you pay them well, if
You-
you give them a bonus for marketing, and then they get a check, they continue to market.
Right.
Hello.
Right.
So
It's economics 101.
right. They continue to, and also they realize how.
When am I going to get some checks?
So the guys realize how much
Smart
easier.
dude, man.
The guys realize how much easier a customer is to work with that came to us through a word of mouth referral.
Of course it is.
And so they like that, and they want that to be repeated. And so
Yeah.
they, a long enough timeline, they learn the behaviors that does that and everything else. So that's how I deliver my level of passion all the way down through our organization. Is ultimately it's good for the business if we keep that up, right? So I made it good for them.
Yeah.
And instead, greedy owners would pocket that marketing. Oh, we didn't have to spend that on marketing. Whoop, going into my pocket.
Yep. And,
No,
you know,
I give it
those
right back
guys
to them.
aren't- Those guys aren't rolling it over. I know for a fact that guys that have that, they do not roll that over.
Right.
No, gosh, no.
That guess where that's going?
Right in their pocket.
Half the time, it's a personal bonus.
Yeah.
They pay the taxes on the 30% or whatever
Yeah.
tax bracket they're in, and they put that. They write their
Right.
wife a check, and she goes and buys a Mercedes. And
So
I don't know what she's doing out there, but yeah, you're right.
So that's how, so it's easy to say focus on service and not on profit, right? But when you're staring at the books and you're trying to make more money or you need to make more money or whatever, it's kind of hard not to focus on profit, right? Well, these are ways that you can literally focus on service, and then when the profit comes, you reward the great service with money, and then they do it again, and they do it again,
Yeah.
and they do it again.
You're paying for that marketing,
Yeah.
and it's paying for itself.
And
It's-
everybody
it's
knows-
Probably better, to be honest, it's probably better. You know, they say what is it when when you spend, you get per calls per dollar spent in advertising. It's probably higher.
Yeah,
when you're
dollars
giving
per
it-
lead and
yeah,
stuff like that.
It's probably higher when you're giving it to those guys that are bringing work in than if you were to spend it on a stupid radio station. You know what I mean?
No, it's the same. I mean, our phones stay ringing all the time, and I've got that budgeted amount.
No. I mean, I'm saying if you spend it on for an actual commercial, I think your actual sales generated are less doing that than
Genuine
your
leads.
guys.
So your leads generated are
Yeah.
less, and the customer's trust factor when they're initially calling
Yeah,
you
that's
is
what
a
I'm saying.
fraction of what
that's
it
what,
is.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I'm saying. You misunderstood
Yeah.
what I was saying. No,
and so
we agreed on that.
creating, and that's why I say you have to start all the way back at the beginning, because you got to create a process that focuses on service that creates the profit, and then you don't profit it, like you give it right back to the guys. So,
Yeah.
but it's that massive flywheel that takes a little bit of motion to get going. But once you put all that effort into it to get it going, it's just like a steam locomotive, and it's hard to slow it down at that point. So that's how I focus on service rather than profit, and result in it results in profit. So
I like it.
that's what I do.
I like it.
So
Got through 3 questions.
yeah. That was fun. We should do
actually
that.
pretty-
That was I like
actually
that.
pretty interesting.
We should do that more often. So
I like how they interweave within each other as well.
and a lot of times they will.
Really close.
They're all going to kind of intertwine a little bit. So
Very interesting.
guys, that's our show for today. As always, remember, if you like what you're hearing on the show, if you're getting value from the show, if you wrote some things down, or if you're going to change the way you do something because of what you just heard on this show, do us a favor and help share this show with somebody. You can either tag this show on social media. On Facebook, we are at Podcast The Void. So if you see somebody commenting or questioning, hey, where do I get advice for this? Or I'm thinking about doing that, simply tag at Podcast The Void, and we'll pop up there. And you can, say, hey, follow these guys or whatever. Also, literally share the episode that you saw with somebody.
Yeah. If you're subscribed to YouTube or subscribe to YouTube, if you're not.
Right. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
It's super easy to click that link and then
you just click the share button and send it to somebody.
On Facebook, it's like boop boop
done. Right.
So easy.
Also, guys, do us a favor, and again, if you are getting good value from this, whatever platform you're listening to this on, if you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review.
Yeah,
We'd really appreciate it. So that helps us come up higher in the search rankings. So when people are looking for shows or suggested shows to them, those 5-star reviews help us dramatically.
And it gets out to more people because it's further up the list.
And remember, we
don't make any money on it.
Yeah, we're not making any money on this. This is like we're just literally trying to get this message in front of as many people as possible.
I mean, if you want to send me cash, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take your money if you want.
Yeah. But guys, that's all we have for you this show. Tune in next time and we'll have some more great stuff for you. So until then, we'll see you later.
Get out. Peace.